First, Corey, we didn't coordinate on colors.
Oh.
I don't even know what color this is. I don't know. Lauren, is this peach, pink, salmon?
Like salmon.
Thank you. So this was a speech that was meant to, you were meant to take to a new audience, someone that was not familiar with you, that was unfamiliar with the topic, and that your purpose was to be able to engage them into the topic that might be something new and fresh to them. So in this case, you don't get the benefit of a brand new audience, but in terms of interpreting the performance of the speech, I'm trying to think about it as though someone that didn't know you, had no history with you, and that was the approach that they were going to be listening. And what you did well is that you actually took civil engineering, which I'm sure is, and structural engineering, which is highly technical, has a lot of not so sexy details to it, right? And made it relatable to all of us by basically saying, you're surrounded by civil engineering and structural engineering every single day. And in fact, today when you woke up, here's all the elements of your daily life where you are seeing the results of structural engineering and civil engineering. So that made it immediately relatable to us. Then you also did a good job of injecting humor, like you always do, little bits of things here and there sprinkled in that just kind of make it a little bit more lively and interesting. And you cited specific examples around things like the roundabout, the curved roads, and some little aha moments in there, which is why the road might be curved, because it actually keeps your attention. So a few things that would I guess, insights for us that made it a little bit more lively. So things to work on, though. There's the obvious one, preparation. I think this was a little bit, you probably were writing the speech almost while you were giving it at times, I think. Which isn't bad. It's a good thing to practice, and I'm sure you pulled this together pretty quickly. So that's kind of an obvious one, the preparation, just being part of it. Then the passion, I think just feeling a little bit more if it's a brand new audience, how do you sell and get them driven and interested in this field? And I think you need to express that passion. And that might also be your tonal variety, your dynamic speaking, and so on. And when you're reading, it's really hard to do that. But when you can engage the audience and move and talk and get soft and loud and sort of change the tempo and the timbre of your speaking, I think will help in terms of keeping them engaged. The other thing that I listened to recently was a debate actually between Malcolm Gladwell and Adam Grant. And they had, well, part of the debate was what makes something interesting. And Malcolm Gladwell said specificity. When you give really, really specific examples of things, that engages people. And Adam Grant said you have to challenge people's preconceived notions of things. If you just tell them what they already know, it's confirmation bias and it's not interesting. And that could be a really boring speech when you give somebody information on civil engineering and it's just exactly what we all expected. So one thought would be to how you could possibly bring in ahas or things we didn't know and surprise us in some form of a story. But otherwise, for I think the time that you had and what you were able to put into it, it was solid, and I really like the creative approach of thinking about it in our daily life. Thank you.